All right. How's everybody doing tonight? You know, this webinar was spawned out of what I would say fear. A lot of people think that the sky is falling. And I would say, let me share my screen. I would say that it's possible that it could. Okay. But I would also say something else to consider. There's no better time than the present to get your house in order and to get educated as to what's going on in the world. And I'm not just talking about financially, I mean in general. So tonight, that's what we're going to go through. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen. Yes, no, maybe so. Hold on. Technical difficulty. All right. Now you'll be able to see the screen. All right. We should be good. Okay. How's my audio? Audio good? Somebody give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. All right. Listen, I'm going to check this chat periodically. Okay. Do me a favor though. We're going to do a big Q&A at the end. So what we're going to do at the end is take all the questions that you may have. Again, if you had people that were supposed to get on this webinar, text them and be like, what the hell are you doing? Did you forget? It's one night. It's going to be 45 minutes that will alter an outcome of most likely anybody that shows up, alter your life. Okay. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a hokey pokey way. I mean, these are the things that you are not taught in school. These are the principles that I'm going to go over tonight, financially, mentally. There are so many different things that I could go into, and I don't have time in 45 minutes as to why the system is the way it is and why what's happening in tonight's webinar, the subject of what is going on in the economy, what's going on with the dollar, what's going on with the Federal Reserve, what's going on with the United States government. This stuff is not taught by design. Okay, and I think most of you that are here understand this. So again, one last time, if you got people that you said, hey, you shared the link with, go on social media right now as you're on this, right? Be like, hey, this webinar is starting. What are you guys doing? Get on here. All right. With that said, I'm going to begin. So this is all about safe assets. If you want my honest opinion, these are the things that people should be considering all the time, like all the time. See, in the last 2 years, I've seen so many things happen in the marketplace, in the financial world. NFTs, cryptos, new fancy shiny objects, and all these things that people chase. And sure, 1 out of every 3,000 people may have gotten lucky and made a bunch of money with one. But what happens to the rest of the people? Most people lose money. The safe asset list that I'm getting ready to go through is a list of tried and true assets in the marketplace and in life that you can literally not fail if you just stick to and you don't deviate from. Again, if you're in the chat, I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions whenever you're done. I did see somebody ask if you're going to be sending out the recording. Yes, I will send out the recording. We'll have it ready. And if you want it, I'll probably list it in my bio. It'll be a Vimeo video that you can just go download. Okay. So with that said, Q&A as well, same thing. We'll wait till the end. I can pull up both here. But I'm going to wait till I get through this entire thing to answer questions. So I do have a couple things that I'm going to go through before we actually get into the meat and potatoes. For those of you who don't know who I am, you just followed me on social media. Maybe you came across the post that I made that went viral. I don't know. Doesn't matter. My background. I'm not going to bore you because this is not about me tonight. I have 11, actually it's 12 as of today, 12 years wealth management experience. I've managed assets in real estate, insurance, private equity, cryptocurrencies. Yes, as much as I say things about crypto, I help people with that and set those things up in a safe manner. We won't be talking about crypto tonight. We do trust and financial identity and estate planning. What does that mean? We help people become wealthy who are not. We help wealthy people become wealthier, and we keep wealthy people from going broke because, yes, that does happen as well. I'm a veteran. I did 1 deployment 6 years in. My background before that was training and nutrition. So I'm all about dialing things in and counting things, whether it's macros, money, or wealth. Okay? All right. That's enough about me because I'm not going to bore you, but I do want you to understand who you're talking to. I think I got a little bit of trouble because I did a video about money in a tank top. Well, sorry, I left the gym. The problem with most of society and social media is that everybody is on social media scrolling, worrying about everybody else, and meanwhile, they're broke. I'll touch on that a little bit in this webinar because that's one of the major things that people need to be looking at is their mindset as an asset. You know, the number one thing that's made me more money than anything on this webinar I'm going to teach you tonight, it's been my mind. My mind. With that said, here's another fun fact about me. That's me in 2010. I took an accidental picture of myself in a car that had duct tape on one window and the other window wouldn't roll up. I had just gotten out of the military 2 or 3 months before this picture was taken. I can't even really look at it because it makes me feel weird. Drunk, without a job, pissed off, not a dollar to my name. I didn't come from money. Anybody on this call that knows me personally knows I didn't come from money. I created this. Fast forward 12 years later. I own a company. I manage people's money. I network and rub elbows with some of the highest people in the, I would say, money industry. And again, I don't drop names because of people want to be private. So I don't drop names of people that I collaborate with or work with because those people don't want to be public. Okay, it's not like the celebrity influencer world where everybody wants everybody to know their name. So with that said, just trust that who you're talking to right now is very well connected, very well educated, very well scripted with what I do in life for a living. And I came from that picture on the left, from nothing. Small farm town guy, didn't even graduate high school on time. And if I can do something with my life, so can you. All right, so why are you here? Why are you here? You saw a post, you got concerned, family, security, hope, future. That's why you're here. You want to make sure that what's going on in today's society, in this marketplace, and in the United States of America with this government and this time, this crazy time. I don't care what side of the, listen, that's another thing. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, Democrat, Republican, red, blue, for trans, against trans, for guns, for not for guns. I don't care. Money and wealth doesn't care about your political affiliation. It just cares about one thing. Can you make the money? Can you keep it? Can you grow it? That's it. So why are you here? Throughout this webinar, I want you to ask yourself, okay, why am I here? Here's one more thing I want you to really consider for me. First of all, this isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do tonight. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just education. This is from my expertise, my knowledge, what you should be doing if I were you. I'm not telling you, hey, go do this. Just have to put that out there. The last thing, I have one ask of you. Stay till the end. I'm going to go through some things that may or may not apply to you. I'm going to go through some things that you're like, that's not going to work for me. I can't do that. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not asking you to consider all of these things. I'm asking you to get educated and to sit here and ask yourself, can I learn something? So stay till the end. Don't tune out because the first two things don't apply to you or you think, hey, that won't work for me. Okay? All right, let's get on to the fun stuff. Let's watch this video real quick.
In today's fast-paced world, time is money. More people, businesses, and organizations are demanding instant payments. That's why the Federal Reserve is developing the FedNow service, a safe and efficient instant payments infrastructure that will modernize the U.S. payment system. The FedNow service will give financial institutions the opportunity to innovate, enabling their customers to send and receive money in seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Funds will settle between financial institutions in real time, which means there's no buildup of interbank obligations, and end users will have access to the funds in seconds. How will the FedNow service work? Imagine the owner of a coffee shop is running low on coffee beans and needs to schedule a quick delivery. She places an order and the coffee bean company sends her a request for payment. She responds to the request for payment and pays for the coffee beans right then and there through an app from her credit union, which uses the FedNow service. Once she initiates the payment, her credit union screens the payment and sends an ISO 20022 compliant payment message. either directly or through a service provider to the FedNow service over the Federal Reserve's FedLine network. The FedNow service instantly validates the payment message and passes it along to the coffee bean supplier's bank. In real time, the supplier's bank confirms to the FedNow service that it intends to accept the payment, and the FedNow service debits and credits the master accounts of both the shop owners and the coffee bean supplier's financial institutions, or the master accounts of their correspondents. The FedNow service also immediately sends a payment message with an advice of credit to the supplier's bank and notifies the shop owner's credit union that settlement is complete. Finally, the supplier's bank credits the supplier's account in near real time, making the funds available. The supplier's bank will have the option of sending a confirmation to the shop owner's credit union that the payment has been posted to the supplier's account, providing the coffee shop owner with certainty that the payment was received. The FedNow service will be designed to be flexible and support a broad range of potential use cases. Banks, credit unions, and other industry providers can use it as a springboard for innovation to support a range of applications such as account-to-account transfers and bill pay. For example, now imagine it's after hours and the shop owner gets a reminder that her car insurance bill is due today. She may be able to avoid a late fee by initiating a bill payment in her credit union app and selecting to pay it now. Later, she repays a friend for a pizza they shared using an app provided by her credit union that clears and settles through the FedNow service. With this service, banks and credit unions can remain competitive by offering the type of payment options customers increasingly expect in today's fast-paced world. The FedNow service will support flexible adoption, allowing financial institutions the option to work with aggregators, processors, and correspondents to adopt the service. Banks and credit unions will also have the option to adopt the full set of FedNow capabilities or sign on as a receive-only participant. The initial launch of the FedNow service will focus on core clearing and settlement capabilities. Additional features will be released in phases to meet evolving industry demands and changes in technology. Get ready for the FedNow service. Learn more at fednow.org.
All right. So give me some real-time feedback. I want to actually hear from you all because I know what I think, but I want to actually hear from you all in the chat. What did you see? What did you think? And what did you feel when you watched that? Okay. So put it in the chat. Give me some short descriptions of what you're thinking and feeling as you watch that. Okay. Big Brother. Monetary slavery. I'll go ahead and give you mine. Scary, but how is it different than Zelle? Controlling. I feel this will manipulate the money further. Here's the deal. Y'all ever seen a movie that was a remake? All right, like Lion King. Lion King is just a remake of an old movie. Okay, FedNow, or the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, the Federal Reserve is not federal at all. It's a private family that is in charge over the monetary policy and systems in America, tied to the Rothschilds, who are tied to all of the old English patriarchs and monarchies. So here's the deal. I'm not going to go super deep into all that, but what I will tell you is that times are changing, yes. Is the US dollar collapsing? It has been for a very long time. Is it going to totally collapse? Let me ask you a question. Do you still have coins? Can you still pay for things with a coin? Sure. You can use quarters. They're pretty outdated, though. Nobody uses them anymore. Can you use dollars? Yeah, a lot of people still have cash, but let's be real. How many people really use the cash? Most people use this little thing right there, the debit card. What we are witnessing is the next evolution of money. However, there is a certain element of control with this because now it's just like cryptocurrency to where things are all connected, except for instead of being to where it's anonymous, off ledger, you have control. This is the ushering in of a way for them to control the systems and the digital currencies even more. So, FedNow, is it something that you'll have to use? Likely not right away. Is it something they may push? Maybe. Is it something that if they keep pushing and they keep stripping away things that were old and a little bit more sovereign, we will probably end up in a civil war? Who knows? 5, 7, 10 years? Absolutely. I don't see a civil war happening in the next 2. And from everybody that I talk to and that I know, they feel the same. But we're in uncertain times right now. We're in very shaky times because things are happening that are unprecedented, and you can't go totally far left and say, oh, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. This is okay. You're a conspiracy theorist if you think X, Y, Z. But you also have to be careful not to go totally far to the right and say, hey, the entire sky is falling. We're all going to be literally on the streets and lose our houses and be in handcuffs and go to jail because we don't want to participate. So it's important to keep a level head about you. The things that I'm getting ready to go through will suffice for the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years if you actually take action on them. Here's the issue. Just like my post, 660,000 people commented, liked, shared, followed, whatever. 400 or 500 people said, hey, I want the link for the webinar, and 54 show up. Sometimes the problem is not that people have problems, it's that they don't want to seek answers. So congratulations to all of you that actually followed through and committed and said, hey, I want to be here to learn. Because the reason most people are broke is not actually the Federal Reserve, it's their own patterns. I'll get to that a little bit later on in the webinar. So let's go through some tangibles. Let me just go through with you very quickly how this whole system works. You earn an income. You're very confused because you're up here. You're working your tail end off for a job, and you've had it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And you're getting to the point where you're like, I'm making money, and then I'm putting it in the bank, and then I have all these expenses called life. A house, cars, gas, food, electric, all of those things. Heaven forbid you want to go take a vacation, right? And what happens is that over time, you have no control over that money and that flow because your money sits in a bank and they go use it to make what? 3,800% rate of return. Yes, that's right. 3,800% rate of return. And then if you do get smart and say, well, I want to do something with my money, I don't know what to do, but I'm told maybe I should do this 401k thing. Please understand what I'm talking about is most people right now. Okay. You might have some variation of this. But then after that, for a while, you realize that there's risk and loss with the 401k. So your money's sitting in the bank. The bankers are making tons of money off of it. You really have no return off of it. And you have no control other than, hey, if I want to go get, have you ever tried to go get $5,000 or $10,000 out of a bank account? You don't have control over it. They tell you got to come back 2 days later because they don't have enough in the vault. You got to call ahead now. It's insane. I just tried to do it. They told me I got to wait 2 days. So the point is that most people are confused because their money sits in a bank. The banking industry is getting rich. The 401k and the financial industry is getting rich. And all the stewards and the people that own all of those assets and money are making tons of money because the 401k and banks are really just what? One big Ponzi scheme that you're participating in, and nobody ever teaches you this stuff. There's no rate of return for you, but there's rate of return for the people that manage your 401k. So what's the solution so you can be happy? We hear this term a lot now called be your own bank. It's very true. You can do that with real estate. You can do it with different types of various insurance contracts. You can do it with your own business. Becoming your own bank means you control the flow of your money. See, the wealthy do this thing called creating a family bank. And I'm going to get into this. This is actually the second thing on the list. But the reason that so many people are controlled today is because they don't have control over their money. You work your entire life and you never actually get traction because 60% of your money goes by the wayside in interest paid to other parties, taxes, fees, and inflation. My friends, make no mistake about it. We live in modern day slavery financially. So how do you flip this on its head? You create a family bank and you control the money that comes into your wheelhouse. You lower the taxation strategy. You create a bank that creates returns, and you can then use that money for other things like real estate, buying businesses. I won't get that far into that tonight, but I will mention it to you, and I'll give you some options on how you can participate without going out and financing a business. So the first item on the list is gold. Yes, gold and silver. You have to realize that through this entire process of monetary debasement means that all of the value of everything around us is being lowered on purpose by the powers that be to gain more control. See, if you can control the value of everything, goods and services bought and sold all the time through an entire populace of people, you can control the wealth. So gold is something that, listen, if we were happen to go back to the gold standard and you buy gold now and at 3,000 X's, it would be a pretty silly thing not to pick up right now. If the dollar starts failing and we have to go back to a US gold standard off of fiat, and this Fed Now program doesn't work, and whatever happens with Russia and China and the other side of things, which that's a whole nother story, but I'll just tell you very simply that we don't know if they're all in league together or not. Some people think they are. Some people think they're not. The strategies and the things I'm going to talk to you about tonight, it doesn't matter if China, Russia, and the United States are in league together or against each other. It doesn't matter what happens with currency, because a currency change has happened in history multiple times. You just have to understand how to hedge against the loss that's happening and make it through that recessionary period to where when it comes out the other side, you're set up for success. Think about buying a house in an up market. In a down market, and it's very cheap and it doesn't cost a lot. And then you put a little bit of work into that house, some time passes, and all of a sudden the house is worth 3 times what you paid for it. The same thing is happening with currency right now. Will we go back to a gold standard? We don't know, but buying gold might be a great choice. Even if we don't go back to a gold standard, guess what never really wavers that much? Gold, silver. P.S. Side note, if you can find silver that's before 1936, that's minted before 1936, extremely valuable and rare. Dave, where do I find gold and silver? Great question. Here you go. One of the best vetted sources that you can come across. It's authentic. They don't have markups on all their stuff. You're buying it near wholesale. Go to apmex.com. Pick it up. Go use as much as you can from your savings or checking account that you have, maybe that you would normally spend per month on eating out or going out or alcohol, right? We all have our thing. And if you're on this call and you're serious about getting serious about money, I would invest a little bit, could be $50, $100, $200, $500 into some gold or silver. It's very simple. The second one, the most widely talked about financial product in the entire world because of Dave Ramsey, is cash value insurance. Listen, I have broke friends and I have rich friends. I know rich people that run businesses, and I know people that don't have a lot to their name. I have a lot of people in my life from all across different spectrums. You know what? The one thing that I can guarantee you is different for all of them is cash value insurance or term insurance. People that don't have a lot of extra money don't care about life insurance. People that have a little bit of extra money buy term insurance, and Dave Ramsey says that that's all you should buy because he doesn't sell it. The third type of person is someone who actually understands how cash value insurance can be used. You're not buying this for an insurance policy. You're buying this for a store of value. Insurance companies are 9 times more solid than banks are. So when you hear people say, well, insurance companies go under, not the big 4 mutual companies, not the top tier mutual companies. They are 9 times more solid. They will not go solvent because they have 9 times the reserve accounts that banks do. So you can buy a product that's safe with guarantees, much like a bank account. In that previous slide that I showed you, create a family bank where you shift your capital from banks that are shaky and that don't give you a rate of return in the first place and could possibly go under, to an insurance company, a mutual insurance company that owns reserves that are unstoppable and bulletproof. They give returns on your money. Your money is safe. It's just like a bank account. And if structured the right way, you can use it just like a bank because you can access the cash value. It grows and compounds over time. And the best part, it's tax-free. It's recession-proof, and you don't have to pay the government on the gains. Okay? If you're interested in setting something like that up, we do have an internal team on that. Setting up a family bank using insurance policies. I will drop a link here right now in the chat. This will be what it looks like. You can go type in your information and get set up with one of my top tier advisors. And from there, they can set you up a plan that will benefit your family. So if you're looking for, hey, where do I put cash that's not a bank that'll grow, that's safe? Insurance accounts. If anybody tells you that cash value insurance is a scam, it's because they don't understand what they're talking about. Okay. So first link here, I am dropping that in the chat. Normally, I would have my handy dandy sidekick tonight, but she is not here. So that should be in the chat. All right, next. You know what? I'm gonna break my rule. I'm actually gonna look at the Q&A real quick. Just kidding. I'm actually not, because it's not pulling up. Next, real estate. Now, there's active investing and passive investing. Sure, you can go out. Now, when I say real estate, I don't just mean multifamily homes or buying a house to rent out and flipping a house. That could be something you could do. You're probably saying, Dave, well, I don't have the money for that. I don't have the time for that. I work a job. I can't flip a house. Great. Passive real estate investing. Syndication funds. You can get with people that know what they're doing. They can use your money, go get a return, and you get a piece of that. All you have to do is offer up your cash. Real estate. One of the biggest ways to gain a lot of wealth. If you buy gold, cash value insurance, and real estate, my gosh, over the course of 5, 10, 20 years, you will become wealthy. Now, there's some other caveats to that. A lot of you on this call might be being like, well, I don't have extra income. We'll get to that. I have a solution for every problem. You just have to realize you have to be willing to go through with that. If you're interested in getting more information on real estate, we do have some trusted real estate partners that we can set you up with, whether it's active or passive investing. We don't really do mentoring on the active investing, but if you want to invest and you want people that are trustworthy, you can send an email there to info@ourlegacycompany.com. Subject line real estate. Next. This is a friend of mine. His name's Ian Dunlap, probably one of the most well-educated, intelligent men on the face of this planet when it comes to stocks. He was just on a show with Kevin Hart and Charlemagne. Ian Dunlap's entire strategy is the absolute easiest, simplest, and time-proven strategy with the stock market you could ever do. You buy 2 tech and 2 index stocks every single month. You put a little bit in as much as you can, or once a quarter, or whatever. You just put an amount of money in that's comfortable for you that you can stomach, and you set it away and you forget it. You're probably like, all right, what's 2 tech? What's 2 index? 2 tech, 2 index. I'll give you a list of some good ones. Index stocks. I'm gonna leave this screen up for a little while. So whoever's wanting to, take pictures of this, okay? Take pictures of it and go use it. If you don't have anything set up, I would recommend following Ian, the master investor. Again, a good friend of mine, mentor in some ways. Go follow him. Go do your own due diligence. Go do your own research. If you're like, I don't know how to buy stocks, Google. We don't have time to go through all that tonight. But I will tell you right here is the format. Hey, I can't get approved for cash value life insurance. I would love to, but my health's bad. Great, here's an alternative. I don't really want to buy gold because I don't really think that that's a good play. All right, cool. I don't like real estate. I've heard horrible things. All right, cool. Passively invest in these stocks. Index stocks and tech stocks, for the most part, will never become so volatile that you will lose your entire life savings. In fact, one of the biggest things that I'm going to get to in the next slides, you need to buy things that all of humanity is going to continue to use no matter what. I don't care how bad the market gets. I don't care if we do have a massive depression. Everybody's going to probably keep their smartphone to stay connected, and they're probably going to use it to be on social media. I think we live in a day and age where most people would probably start forfeiting meals before they would give up their cell phone. And that's a damn truth. So things like Apple and Microsoft, these companies that everybody uses, Meta, they're never going to go away. So why not put some money into them? And as they grow, you'll get some money back. Now, again, I have my own thoughts. You should be setting up insurance policies before you set up stock brokerage accounts because they're more safe, lower rate of return, but more safe. But for the most part, these stocks are safe. Again, not financial advice. Commodities. Again, in the stock world, or find companies that you can invest in. Oil, food, energy, crops, natural gas, things that will never go away in a recession, you can't really go wrong with. If you want my honest opinion, this can get a little bit tricky because listen, again, I can't sit here. It would be a 6-hour call and I'd probably have to call Ian Dunlap up, but a 6-hour call to go over exactly what companies has the best 30-year track records in the oil industry or the gas industry or the food industry to invest in. I can't give you that. But if you want some tips or pointers, go invest in the stuff that everybody's addicted to. Coca-Cola, M&Ms, Pizza Hut. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what companies, but if they're companies that have been around for a really long time, chances are they're going to probably still be here. Invest in those companies if you have the wherewithal and the know-how to trade. Again, my personal opinion, I run a business. I consult for a living. I'm constantly doing things where I'm making a lot of money with my clients. And then I want passive, quick, very easy barrier of entry type investments. So I have partners in the private equity industry. I just give them money and I get a return. I have insurance policies. I just give the insurance company money. I get a return. Simple for me. But you may not be in a place where you're able to do those things. Again, in order to get qualified for cash value insurance, you have to have good health. So sometimes people get kicked out and they want to get that and they can't just because of their health. Okay. 6, buy an existing business or partner. I'm going to be real with you. In the next 15 years, billionaires will be made because right now businesses, brick and mortar businesses, especially after COVID, are going completely belly up or people are not buying them and they could be. Imagine taking over a business that an older person in an older generation is just done with and doesn't really want to deal with anymore. You come in and you can take that business over, buy it, 3 to 4x it over the next 3 to 4 years, set it on autopilot and move on to the next one. You might be saying, Dave, that sounds really complicated. I work a regular job. I have a family. I don't have time for that. Awesome. I get it. So go back to number 1 or 2. That's very easy to do, and it's very passive. Or you can partner with an existing business. So find a business that's already working and people are making money at. I'll get into that in a second. These things that I just gave you are pretty much what most millionaires have. They just double, triple, and quadruple down on this stuff. Gold, silver, cash value insurance, real estate, land, safe stocks. Listen, I could go into a whole spiel about if things do get bad in this country, why would you not want to have a 2 or 3 acre plot of land that you took a loan out? Now, again, I get it. Oh, Dave, what about banks? Listen, banks are not going to go under. Things are just going to change drastically if they go that way. Also understand that things may not change a ton at all. This could all just be something that seems really scary and it doesn't end up that way. But guess what? If you take action on 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 of these things tonight in the next year or 2 and start actually paying attention, well, if things don't get bad, guess what? You're going to be in a better place anyway. You're going to actually start creating wealth as opposed to waiting until something comes down the line and you're like, oh crap, maybe I should do something. Right? If you're on this call and you're like, hey, I'm struggling. I don't even have money to invest. First of all, the biggest thing I can say is you need to add income. Arguably, disciplines need to be first, but adding income solves things. I always tell people, you don't have a debt problem. You don't have a spending problem. You have an income problem. You don't have enough income to live the way you really want to live. And then you don't have the disciplines to live below your means. So you need to fix that somehow. The best case scenario, you lower your disciplines, you raise your disciplines so that you lower your cost of living, get rid of the brand new trucks and cars, get rid of the super, extravagant lifestyle that you don't really need. Skip the vacation this year, make some memories in a more meaningful and affordable way. If you're really struggling for money, lower your expenses, find ways to add income. Here's where this is going to get hard for some of you, maybe, I'm not sure. You need to realize that in today's day and age, there are kids from their smartphones making money on YouTube. So if you're like, I don't know how to make more money, BS, you're just not trying. If you want some examples, I can give you some, but we do have opportunities with our company. We have plenty of people that come on part-time and just teach people very simple life insurance and financial strategy that they don't even have to work at that hard. You just learn some stuff, you get a license, you refer business, and you get paid. What if you can make an extra $30,000 a year part-time for referring business to a company like us? Again, this is what I do for a living. What industries have the richest people? Number 1, financial services and investments. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm teaching you this. So, some things to consider. You could join our team. This isn't a pitch. I'm just saying if you're like, I don't have any extra income, I want to invest in gold, I want to do a cash value policy, I want to buy a multifamily home, but I don't have extra cash. Awesome. Fix it. Fix it. We have systems and everything in place, people, systems, and processes to bring you on board, teach you how to do this part-time from your smartphone, from your couch, and make money in the evenings if you really want to. With that said, I will put that link in the chat. All you do is fill this out just like before. If you want to fill this out, you go to this link, you fill it out, someone will contact you and we'll be in touch. Okay? I'm not going to spend an hour on that. Copy, paste. Okay. Here's the deal. Nick said, I'm not seeing the links you're posting. Can everybody else attest to that? Can you guys see the first link I posted or the second link? Hang on a second. All right. Thank you for letting me know that. A little bumpy tonight. I don't have my right hand seater. Okay. All right. Here's the link. If you want to schedule a call with an advisor to talk money and to talk cash value insurance. Okay. I'm going to drop this now. There's that one. Second link. Apologize for my technical difficulties. What are you guys getting out of this so far? Tell me some things that you're hearing from me, sure. But also give me some feedback and some thoughts on what are you still concerned about? Okay. What are you concerned about? What are you worried about? Because I'll tell you right now, nothing worries me. Why? Because I'm constantly preparing. I'm constantly educating myself. I'm constantly doing things to get my money right and to create more wealth. Okay. It doesn't matter where you're at in this call tonight. If you're like, man, this just seems like so over my head. I got a lot of work to do. I'm too late in life. None of that's true. None of that's true. Second link I am sending now. You have to realize that everything is just a game and you have to learn the cheat codes. You got to learn the cheat codes. So if I can plug in a link right here and you can get past feeling like, oh, well, you're just trying to recruit me into your company. No, I'm trying to offer you a way to make more money. I had a conversation today. I'm going to buy a side-by-side for my new property. And I go to pick this side-by-side up. The gentleman has a nice, decent house. He's retired. We start talking. And he says, man, I absolutely need to talk to you after I told him what I did. He said, I need to work with you. Guess what? If that was you and you're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I just told this person I'm in the financial industry and I can help them with some insurance and I can help them with taxes and whatever. You would just then refer them to us, the specialists, because you're brand new. And then you get paid. Do you know how many people are needing financial education today? It's literally everyone. So it's something to think about. Okay. The last item is something that I absolutely, Tony says, no concerns, take action, execute. Even at 35, being a new business owner, Dave and his team are handling all my assets and getting my retirement in check. It's never too late. I love that, Tony, man. You're a stud. It's never too late to really realize, hey, there's a version of me that needs to come out, because ultimately here's the real truth. Investing, making money, creating wealth, it's all a mindset. It's how you show up. It's who you are. Again, I can scroll back to that first picture of me as a drunk loser in 2010 who had no guidance. All I did was I plugged in with people. I coached, I learned, I read books, and I dedicated myself to a new way of being. So I have one last thing that I'm going to bring to you. Normally, this is an expensive endeavor. This is something that, hey, would be probably a couple $100s a month. Creating the mindset of a millionaire. We have a program called Legacy X. You are the asset, right? Your health, your fitness, your mindset, your money, your family. We teach all of this, and I spend an hour every single week going through everything that I've learned to get to where I'm at. And I'm telling you right now, I'm just at the tip of the iceberg. And I'm looking to bring other people with me. So for $75 a month, you can have access to myself, my network, people that are way richer and wealthier than me, way ahead of the game of life. And I bring them to the table. I bring the lessons I've learned. I tell you all the tactics on money, investing, mindsets, all the skill sets, all the things that you actually need to become a different person so that you can create wealth. I am telling you right now that the entire game of money is just that. It's a game. And when you wrap your head around it, things get really good. But it's a game, and you have to learn to understand that the game does have cheat codes. And if you keep playing the same way you've been playing since the inception of your birth, and since the inception of learning what money even is and learning what life is, chances are you're stuck in a pattern right now that you can't get out of, and you don't know how to make that change. I struggled for a really long time trying to figure out, how do I bring all this stuff that's in my head, in my heart, to people, and not make it a thing where I have to be on a one-on-one call with people for hours and hours and hours, because that's not lucrative for me. And as much as I love to help people, I still have to make a living. So it's $75 a month. The program's called Legacy X. It's the collective. Okay. Feel free to join if you want. You can go to the website, ourlegacycompany.com. I can drop the link here for that. I don't really feel like I need to. Okay. If you want to go search it out and find it, go search it out and find it. You go to the tab at the top that says Legacy X. Okay, it looks like this. We'll take some more chat questions. If the dollar goes under, how does one deal with their gold? Well, I mean, the thing is, the dollar and gold is not connected. The dollar is based on the fiat currency. Okay, so fiat currency replaced the gold standard. If we go back to the gold standard, your gold will be worth a crap ton of money. Even if you don't go back to the gold standard and the dollar fails, gold is still valuable. Insurance will still hold its place. Land and real estate will never become not valuable, because even though it's based on the dollar, it's still an inherently valuable thing. People need a roof over their heads. They're going to pay rent. Land will always be land. That's why I just bought a bunch of it. Okay. What you all have to realize is that there are steps and levels to this, that you have to just figure out what you can do right now. The next thing that you can do. The more that you worry about what's coming down the pipeline, it won't do you any good. You can't worry. You have to start taking action. And chances are it's on stuff that you know you probably should have done before, but now it's like, no, now I really need to get going. Listen, I'm going to leave you on a positive note. I'm not really that concerned. I think that the FedNow program is going to kind of pop its head up and be there, and they're going to try to really push people towards things. I don't think this is going to be the next big thing that tanks the economy. I do think that that's coming. I think that we're going to continue to have massive world issues. We might have a small skirmish or a half of a world war that we're kind of involved in and not really involved in, and it's going to tank the dollar. There's a number of different things that can happen. And again, starting the video off that I made that spawned this entire webinar, I know a lot of people that think the same thing. They're right in the middle. Well, it's not really good, but it's not like end of the world stuff. Okay. End of the world stuff is when you start seeing Russia and China and you see nuclear stuff in the news, then the whole dollar thing doesn't even matter, because we're talking about war. Okay. Right now, you're in a good position. Here's why. You're here. You're getting educated. There's no time like the present to dive in, learn things, start getting educated on how money works, insurance, real estate, safe assets, because safe assets are the stuff that people overlook because it's like not new and shiny, right? Oh, it's not my friend's company that's going to go public and blah, blah, blah. It's not this new cryptocurrency that'll make you 5,000x return. Wealthy people become wealthy by doing the simple stuff that works over and over and over again and just letting the process be. So I applaud you for showing up tonight, because there was a lot of people that said, I want answers. I want answers. So many people commented on my post and said, well, you're just talking about the problem. What about the answers? I already had the link in the bio. All they had to do was go click and do a little bit of searching to see, oh, there's a webinar on this. But everybody wants to gripe and complain instead of actually taking action. So you're an action taker if you're here. That's step one. You're an action taker if you're here. That just means that you're on the right path. But you got to keep going. Don't worry about what's going on right now. Worry about, what can I do to take action on the next step? How can I keep growing my wealth and my money? If your money's sitting in a bank account doing nothing for you, you got to get out of that habit. Get it out of the banks, get it moving, get it making you a return. Make sure that you're educating yourself and working with the right vetted people, and you will end up in a better place than you are today. It's one thing the Boy Scouts taught me, was to leave things better than they were. That's my goal in life, with people, with businesses, with relationships in general. So let's open it up to a little bit of Q&A. I want to go ahead and let you guys just kind of just have at it, right? Any questions you have, any questions you want to ask, anything personal about myself, my business, whatever. Let's see, how much should we keep in the bank? 10%? Yeah, Terrence, I mean, you always want to have a little bit just for a rainy day, right? Like if you have a life insurance policy and you dip into it because you need something and something blew up on your car or a water heater, it's going to take you 2 days to get your money back out, right? So you'll definitely want to have some cash in the bank, just enough for expenses and a little bit of extra for a rainy day. Anything over and above that, you definitely want to have working for you. Okay. Ian says, can I still work with insurance products and legacy if I'm FINRA licensed? Yeah, you can. You just have a certain level of regulations to where you can't advertise a certain way. Okay. So yes, you can do that. Are your advisors ever to work with people in Canada? My specific advisors are not, but I do have a contact in Canada that's really good that I can set you up with. If you want to shoot me a message on Instagram, you can do that. Eric says, do you recommend borrowing from your cash value to invest your Roth IRA or keep it separate? I would keep it separate, mainly just because the insurance is guaranteed. You have that guaranteed rate of return. And then what happens when you put it over into the Roth, if the market goes south and the Roth loses value, now you're losing value instead of getting something back in return. So I would keep the insurance separate and invest in something a little bit more safe. I'm not a massive fan of Roth IRAs or any type of market sensitive account. But then again, it's better than having nothing. So that's totally up to you. Don't take my word as gold, pun intended. But you could do that. People do that. I would really more focus on how to increase income and then keep multiplying that way, right? Any way to get rid of FINRA issue? Ian, I'm not sure what that means. If you want to hit me up offline, because I know we're kind of connected, that's really more of a deeper issue that I think that we can handle on this webinar. So if you're having like concerns with marketing and being licensed in other areas, that's just something we could talk about. So anybody else? Again, thank you for showing up. Out of the 500 people that licensed or that commented about wanting to jump on something, you guys actually took action. So that's awesome. I knew that people would not show up, right? Awesome. Which part of the time roll with your company is part-time role with your company commission-based? Yeah, sorry, I couldn't read that. It's very small. Yes, everything would be commission-based if you're just on the life insurance side. Now, there's other opportunities and other things you can do, but that's a little more of advanced planning. But just the commission-based opportunity is, you're working with people on cash value life insurance, their retirement, and possible trusts. You can help set up trusts. You don't personally do it. You just refer them. If a family needs a trust or a will, we can do that as well. Cousin Donnie, awesome. Thank you for jumping on. I knew you would. I know you're just really trying to get some things figured out as well. You're awesome. Let's get it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Do you have connections on buying land internationally? That's one thing I do not. I've never been asked that, but I do have a lot of people that I know internationally, so I'm sure I can make some calls and something like that. So pay me a $50 gift card to for some whiskey or something. I'll make some calls for you. I'm just kidding. Thanks for your time and your help. Yep, absolutely. And where's a good place to store gold? Well, I mean, there's different types of, gold and silver. Just get it, put it in a safe. If you have physical gold and silver, some of those companies, you can actually buy it, the value of it, just like a currency. You can buy it, they hold it, and then you have the value of that. But I would prefer to actually have it in my hands. It's just kind of a cool thing to have. How much does it cost to create a basic irrevocable trust? Just a basic one. So a basic trust would be a revocable trust. The more complex trusts are more expensive, but just a basic trust, you can message me and I'll send you the link on that and you can get that started. You're going to be looking at around $1,500 for everything. And that's going to include a will, a will and living testament, and a couple other things as well. We have a whole package that we have a partnership with. So still got some questions rolling in. So the safest asset is gold and land. I would argue that most things that I had up tonight was the safest assets, right? The point of this was I didn't want to put anything on there that wasn't pretty tried and true. I would say the only thing that could be questionable was the stock portion. Stocks are never guaranteed, right? You're going to lose some value if the market goes down. You're going to raise some value if it comes back up. But those companies, the tech and the index companies, they're very solid, okay? So cash value insurance, gold, and I would say real estate, probably top three of you're pretty much good through a recession if you hold a lot of that. Okay. What's the ideal amount of money for cash value insurance? I've been doing some research, and some people say to keep the value, i.e., value low, i.e., 300K. Yeah, it's really different for everybody. I mean, it depends on how much death benefit you want and then how much cash you want to sock into it. I mean, we have people that do $250 a month into their policies. We have people that do $1,000 a month. I have clients that do $10,000 a month. Okay, it just comes down to what you really want to do. We have some really cool stuff with paying down houses. You can use an insurance company policy to pay down your house faster. Okay. I got on a little late. Can you go back to that slide, please? Kevin, which slide would you like to go back to? Kevin, I'll tell you what. I will send you, we're gonna have a recording on this, right? I'll just send you the link for the recording. I don't want to go back through a bunch of slides and jumble anything up. So just shoot me a message and I'll get you the recording once it's done. And I think that'll be it. If we're done with any questions, I wanted to keep this under an hour to keep it, easy for you all to digest and not too much information. Okay. And we may do this again. I may just share this back out. If anybody wants to share this with any friends or family, once the recording's up, I'll make it available. So, all right. Awesome. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Yep, absolutely, Tony. All right, guys. Hope this helped. Have a good night.